What's good, everybody? It is your girl Tika Deshawn of All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. Here to bring you guys a recap of Tyler Perry's Ruthless Season 4, Episode 19, entitled The Ticking Clock. And oh my goodness, you guys, this clock was ticking on every single character in this episode. Okay, you guys, so on the last episode, we saw where Aaron walked into the police station escorted by Cal, and he goes in and he is singing like a bird. He is telling about how Mac had him stuffed into the trunk of that vehicle. He's also talking about how Conley was a part of it as well. And oh my God, you guys, I did not expect this particular moment. Mac, first of all, Mac attempts to say, "Oh no, son," to Aaron. "Oh no, son, you're mistaken. You're not, I'm not the one that you're talking about." And oh my goodness, because the fire was so hot in the kitchen and the time bomb was ticking, Mac literally pulled a Hari Kari, you guys. He literally unalived himself right on the spot in front of Aaron, in front of Desiree, in front of Cal. And then Conley attempts to pull his blicky. But Conley, what are you going to do with the blicky? So Aaron proceeds to make sure that Desiree and Cal knew that Conley was a part of the shenanigans as well. He was the one that told Deputy Kate to take him to the hunting lodge as opposed to not bringing him to the the police department or the sheriff's department. He was telling it all, and we got our wish, you guys. We finally got to see where Conley was handcuffed and escorted into the cell where the one and only Andrew is located. So back on the compound, you guys, we see where Daikon is attempting to go into that safe, and he opens the safe. He looks, but he's looking for the code, the whatever he needs to, secure this particular safe. And unfortunately, because the fellas, also known as Manny, had taken the code and the directions and instructions on how to, create the code for the combination for this particular lock, the information is not in there. So he goes out, Daikon goes out, and he gets Ben, which is one of the guys who brought the, safe back to the Rockadoosh compound. Well, Ben says all we did was bring it in here. We didn't look for paperwork. We didn't do anything particular. All we did was bring this back to the compound as instructed. So the hire says, well, why don't you just go to the get the hotspot from out of my room and look on the internet and search on how to open up a safe or how to create a combination for a safe. And Daikon goes into the Hyas's bedroom and he sees that the combination is not, or that the hotspot is not there. So then the Hyas says, "Oh, I remember. It's in the finance trailer." So Daikon leaves to make his way to the finance trailer. Now, also, prior to Daikon leaving out of the Heist's trailer, the Heist says that he wants to see River. And of course, Daikon stops at Manny and lets Manny know that the Heist would like to see River. And Manny makes his way to go and find River. So outside of the sheriff's department, we see where Aaron and Desiree are having a conversation, and they're just talking about how, they really, or Aaron is telling Desiree that they really need to go back to that compound to get his wife. Of course, through all of this, y'all, he still loves his wife. This to me makes me realize that Aaron was not a part of Laura and Jones' shenanigans. All he knows is that his wife is stuck on that compound and he wants her off of it. And he tells Desiree that because she is there, you guys can just go in and get her. So she says to him, um, when you were there, how, did you see any weapons? He said, yeah, there was lots of weapons. She said, so you know that we can't just go in there like that. Basically, because there would be a full-on war if we just rolled up on the Rakadushi compound. So he kind of understands, but at the end of the day, Aaron truly just wants Laura off of the compound. So in this trailer, the finance trailer, we see where Daikon is there and he's talking to Joan, trying to get the code, or looking for the hotspot. And he says to her, I need your hotspot. So she looks at him as if he's flirting with her, but in actuality, no, he's coming to look for the hotspot for the Wi-Fi so that he can look up the information that the highest needs him to. Now, mind you, Joan thinks that he's solely there to antagonize her, to look up the information to see whether or not she is on that account. And you guys, she's acting very, very suspicious. So to me, this is going to spark the interest of Daikon going ahead and looking into that account that Joan set up, that one odd account that Joan set up. I think again she's just acting way too suspicious at this moment. So then we see where River sees Lewis. And fortunately, Lewis was the one that passed by, and River calls out to him and basically tells him, to let him out of the punishment trailer. And River says that he's going to go to the highest and let the highest know that Malcolm as well as Peter have escaped. And oh my God, Lewis lets him know, man, you can't do that. You just can't do it. Just act like it never happened. They don't have to know that you were in this trailer. Just act as if it never happened. Go put you some clothes on and, just act natural. So they both walk off. Lewis sees Ruth and Lewis tells Ruth that the two have escaped. The two being Peter as well as Malcolm. And Ruth is like, yeah, I know. Basically just as I thought, y'all, because there's just so much more going on. Ruth don't have time to, involve herself with the Malcolm and the Peter situation. She also knows that they will send the FBI at some point if Peter and Malcolm are found out there in the woods. And so anyway, she proceeds to let him know that it's still on and popping for the night. Prophecy is set. We'll be out there in the pavilion doing what we have to do. We're not going to worry about Malcolm as well as Peter. So then up rolls Nervous Joan. And Nervous Joan came with that talk. She told Ruth, I need your help. I need you to help me get out of this situation. She finally has to acknowledge to Ruth that she created a separate account that has a lot of money in it. And she claimed it was over 300,000, or it was 300,000. However, we also know that there's $1 million in that additional account. And Joan is getting called out. She is being found out. And Ruth is pissed. Then Joan tries to pull well, if he finds out that you're not pregnant card. And Ruth is like, girl, like, you better tread lightly. Joan tells her to basically have sex with Daikon, to help her get out of her mess. But Ruth is like, girl, just walk away. She does not trust her at this point. It's unfortunate the trust has been lost, because you telling me you have a separate account, so you was going to take the money that was right here on the compound as well as this additional money. Again, Ruth definitely does not trust her. She wanted to beat the brakes off of Joan right then and there. However, she chose an alternate mode of action because they have a bigger plan that's coming up later. And Ruth is not trying to figure out, not trying to help Joan. She's not trying to come up with anything at that moment to help Joan. So anyway, back at the police station or the sheriff's department, we see where Conley is locked up, and he's in the jail cell or the holding cell with Andrew. And Andrew was like, "What happened? What was that? What was that sound?" And Cal tells him, "You don't recognize the sound of a gun." And your boss just unalived himself. And he's like, "What? What? Not Mac." It seems like Andrew was hurt by hearing that Mac unalived himself. He didn't know that Mac was dirty, but he's hurt by all of it. He also knows, of course, he knew that Conley was messing around with the girl, so he and Conley are in the container or in this jail cell having a little chit chat, and Conley is like, I knew they were just getting too close, and just, Conley. He really is not much for words about the whole situation. He's trying to keep quiet as if he had nothing to do with any of it, but they are on to him. The ticking clock, the clock has run out on Conley. Poor Andrew, he thought that Mac was clean. However, now he knows that Mac is dirty because Mac pulled a harikari on himself. Why else would you unalive yourself if you're not guilty? So anyway, at the pavilion, we see where Ruth and River are having a conversation, and River is saying, "I gotta let the highest know what happened," and she's like, "No, just keep your mouth shut. Our plan is gonna go through the night." Then she asked him, "Were you going to leave without me and Joan with that boy?" Talking about Peter. And of course River says, "No, no, I wasn't gonna leave. I wasn't gonna leave you." Well, now Ruth, again, back at Ruth not trusting River either. So Ruth has no trust for Joan, nor does she have any trust for River. Anyway, you guys, then we see Manny walks up to River. He's very aggressive as always. "River, what are you doing?" River says, "Well, I was sleeping." And he says, "Well, the highest wants to see you." So River goes off and he goes to see the highest. In the meantime, Daikon has gotten the password, or at least the combination to the other safe, which, y'all, I don't understand why they wouldn't just put the money in the safe that was in the finance trailer. Move the safe that was in the finance trailer into the highest's trailer and just use that safe. I just didn't understand that, but it is what it is. They wanted a bigger, higher powered safe to secure this money in. So anyway, you guys, we see where River has made his way into the trailer of the highest, and also Daikon is on his way out to go and get that, go into that safe and get that hotspot. Then, like I said, the highest is telling River that there's going to be a prophecy later on that night, and that he wants this particular flyer, which is the flyer for the hotel. He wants that posted up and or basically on the projector screen when he makes the announcement that they are going to be moving to this hotel, y'all. So River, River is calm and composed considering what he just went through, and he does not reveal anything to the highest at that time. He only is there for instructions. He hears what the highest has to say and he moves on. So then we see back at the finance trailer, there's a moment where Joan low-key, high-key thought that she could pull a Ruth. She thought that she could flirt with Daikon. And Daikon lets her know, "I'm not attracted to you." After asking her, "Are you attracted to me?" And she says, well, I am a woman." And Daikon is like, well, I'm not attracted to you. And so Joan knows that she is freaking screwed. She's acting real suspicious. And unfortunately, I think that Daikon is still gonna not only do the research to how to open up that other safe, or how to create a combination on that other safe, but he's also going to do the research as to whether or not Joan's name is on that that account. Also, also in the midst of Joan letting Ruth know that she had created that other account, Ruth tells Joan that her name better not be on any of those accounts, but not have anything to, do with her. Keep her out of that situation. So anyway, you guys, back at the kitchen, we see these ladies and they're peeling potatoes and carrots. It's like that's been the running meal for the day: potatoes and carrots and whatever else. So anyway, Ruth walks in and she lets them know, look, I need y'all to trust me. We need to be on the same team. You can't trust Joan and you can't trust River. And Zane is like, well, why didn't you, let me know what was going on? And of course, Lacey says, well, why you didn't let me know what was going on? Of course, Ruth tells Lacey that I didn't want to upset you. And then as far as Zane, she says that, I promise you I was going to take you with me. I just didn't want to, say anything right at the moment. Basically, we had to make sure we had a clean and clear and cut plan so that we, can get out of this thing together. In the meantime, I know that your husband, Laura, is at the sheriff's department, so there's going to be some help that is going to come in for us at some point in time. But how do you know he made it to the sheriff's department, Ruth? How do you know he made it? How do you know? Oh, okay. We know he escaped. We know he got out of there. But how do you know? So anyway, we'll find out what more Ruth knows in regards to Aaron and how does she know this information. So anyway, y'all, in the midst of all of this, after Ruth leaves out, then we see Elder Mother walking in, and she tells Lacey to go, or I'm sorry, she tells Laura as well as Zane to go to the other side of the kitchen, and she tells Lacey to go to the outhouse and make sure that she is chained up, and Lacey is like, I'm good, Elder Mother. Basically, I don't need them chains on my legs. But she tells the other Elder Mother to make sure she puts the chain on Lacey's legs. So then in walks, limping and hurting, and because she just got her butt whooped, the one and only Bridget. And Bridget is telling Elder Mother everything. She is singing like a canary. She's singing like a bird, y'all. She tells Elder Mother Marva that Ruth spanked her. She spanked her because she was talking to one of the men, and and I got mad, and like just going in. And of course, the ladies came up, being Laura as well as Zane, saying that she's lying. And if she's lying, Zane asked Elder Mother to let her cut the tongue of Laura or of Bridget off. And Elder Mother's like, no, we're gonna go find out the truth. We're gonna go talk to the highest. And of course, because Bridget is like, I'm not saying nothing until I talk to the highest. The highest is the only one that I want to talk to. So do you guys think, and drop your comments below, do you guys think that Elder Mother is going to take Bridget directly to the highest, or will she stop by Daikon, or will she actually go to Ruth instead? That's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how this will play out. So anyway, you guys, last but not least, in the last moment of the episode, we see where, because the highest told Daikon to go and check on his visitor, because if the visitor is still alive after all of the heroin that he has been given, then the highest will know that that heroin is the good stuff. It's the real freaking deal. Daikon walks into that punishment trailer. The charge chair is empty. The trailer itself is completely empty. The fellas have gotten away, and Daikon is pissed. Anyway, you guys, that was the end of the episode. What were your thoughts? Did you guys check this episode out? If so, what was your favorite part? Anyway, thank you all so much for tapping in and tuning in with your girl Tika Deshawn of All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. If you're new to my channel, finding your girl for the first time, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can receive reminders of new Ruthless content, okay? All right, y'all, that's about it. Thank you so much, and you already know, stay ruthless.